this is Upside Down 6 and Upside Down 9 podcast, basically talking every and anything. We've just done coronavirus. That was the first episode. Hope we didn't bore you too much, but this one, well, it depends. I might do the coronavirus after this one. We'll see anyway. But me and you, so UD6, which is I, and UD9, who is in San Diego. Say hello.
Hey, it's UD9 in San Diego, Bunker 2. We're informed now, but now I think we need to let loose a little bit and talk about some stuff that's maybe going to entertain us a bit.
Yeah, probably get the entertainment factor up a bit. Everyone's I think sick of hearing about the coronavirus. The coronavirus is definitely winning on hogging the news. I know that one, but
well, and it's important, but you also have to. I mean, it's going to drive you crazy. Is one thing in the radio world I always try and talk about. When there's new information, get the new information.
Yeah.
When you start watching the same or listening to the same news over and over and over again, it can depress you.
Yeah, I agree. So
last night,
this channel grew from
to
Terminator. So you was going to say, what did you watch last night?
Oh, yeah. Last night I got home from the office, long day of broadcast. And normally I pop on Netflix, look at what's, recommended and all that. And Netflix must know me pretty well because one of the movies it recommended was Terminator 3. And no, I'm not talking about Dark Fate, as some would call that Terminator 3 now. No, I'm talking about Rise of the Machines. And I sat there for a minute and I thought to myself, I originally dogged this movie. But, I love all things Terminator. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to try and get as much positivity out of this film as absolutely possible. And so that's what I put on. And you can. Yeah, I actually, you know what? A couple of things that you and I were talking about off the podcast that I'll mention. So getting all the way through the film, I actually was only able to come up with two things that I did not enjoy about the movie. And other than that, it's a solid film, including Nick Stahl, who I didn't give enough credit, and I think most people just said he's not Edward Furlong. He's a decent John Connor, really well acted. But the two problems I had, one, those Elton John sunglasses should have never hit Arnold's face. That was stupid, pointless. There was no room for those in the movie.
How we fucking let him do that, I do not know, but yeah.
No, it didn't fit. It wasn't Terminator, it wasn't Arnold, it wasn't anything. And the second problem I have, which is actually kind of a big one, but I get why, is I think they were trying to take it up a notch from Terminator 2, and they're like, oh, how can we get bigger? How can we get better? I know. We'll make Skynet on the internet. No, we'll make Skynet the internet. And that's, kind of what you figured out at the end. Skynet created the virus so that it could, have itself connected in. And, suddenly, basically, the ending monologue of John Connor is, Skynet is everywhere. The battle is, far from over. But it doesn't sound like Skynet can be destroyed. Like, if it's not a central core anymore and it's everywhere on the internet, like if someone were to try to pull the internet today, would you really be able to disconnect the whole thing? Like, it's pretty far reaching. And so I think they went a little bit above what they could grasp. And if there was a direct sequel to Terminator 3, Rise of the Machine 6, I think they would have had a hard time tying things together.
Yeah, I get your point. And hopefully people comment below and let us know what you think about that. But talking about Terminator, Netflix, I think because I don't think we're going to get another Terminator movie for possibly another 10 years. We will get one, but because Terminator franchise, it's the same with the Alien movies and the Predator movies, they always try and give it a go. But I think Netflix is the way forward. I mean, like you said, you got home after your work and you was flicking through and you passed Terminator and you was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll give that a go. So imagine if let's do a Kyle Reese series, before Kyle Reese was even born, so it could start off, episode 1, the pilot or whatever, with his parents basically trying to survive and that, and then obviously their struggle through the future war, and then obviously Kyle Reese is born and then his development and stuff like that. You could have 10 episodes of pure future war Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a Netflix thing as well, the big budget, some of these things, you know what I mean? I reckon that'd be a more successful route to go.
You know what? I actually just kind of tied our two thoughts together. So getting through the end of Terminator 3, I'm like, you know what? I give it a solid 3 out of 5 stars. I might even give it more if I went back again. But just for the 2 issues that I mentioned, it's 3 out of 5. But what you could do if you really wanted to, because we've all wanted to see the future war. I mean, that is what Terminator fans have been craving for a very long time. And I thought we were going to get more of it in Dark Fate, and we didn't. So you have this Kyle Reese series, which most of it is in the future. What if you did it from the standpoint of being? I mean, it would kind of wreck what they did with Dark Fate, but then again, Dark Fate wasn't very successful. What if you did, especially if you did this right? Maybe James Cameron gets involved. You have the Kyle Reese series, especially when it gets to the future, be a direct piggyback if they want to go big off of Rise of the Machines, and you have that version of Skynet that's like connected everywhere through the internet, and go that route. I mean, I think they should probably take some type of a risk, especially if they're going to give us what we want with the future war. Kyle Reese is something that I know I've wanted to get more into, but I think it would be worth a shot.
Because it's like, what's that Star Wars thing called? Mandalorian, is it? The Mandalorian or
Great
something
show.
like that. That's
It's a
doing really
show.
good, is it not? I mean, that's
I'll
doing
tell you
really
what,
well.
and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Kyle Reese thing like that. Now that you bring it up, it is because The Mandalorian is the single-handed best piece of Star Wars, and it might even be up there with the originals since the originals. Like, it is so well done. Like, a lot of people, including myself, even though I enjoy all the new Star Wars content, says, okay, let the writers that do The Mandalorian and the heads at The Mandalorian do it all, because they're knocking it out of the park in every way. And they could do the same. They could do the same thing with. They could do the same thing with the Kyle. If they did the same formula, and they really picked the right people to do this Kyle Reese Netflix series, they could do some very similar stuff. And again, I would like to see, especially after last night, hey, give me a direct sequel to Terminator 3, and but do it mostly in the future. I think that's interesting stuff.
Yeah. These series seem to work. People have got, Dark Fate didn't do well in the cinemas, but it polled #1 on rental and download the other week. So, it's obvious that that's what people like to do. Like with the coronavirus, it's pushed a lot of movies that were meant to be going to cinema, obviously can't go into cinema anymore, so they're becoming available on, download or watch on your TV provider. You know what I mean? You can rent it off Virgin Media and so forth. So movies being pushed forward like that as well. Instead of this, let's get people into the cinema. And I know a cinema experience is good. The sound is brilliant. Big screen in front of you. It's something different. It's a change from being sat in your lounge at home. But you'd get a lot more traction if it went straight to TV, your Netflix and stuff like that. And that's why I think that'd make a successful marketing way, a marketing process or production process. It'd just be,
and movies will be back. I mean, don't get me wrong, in the cinema. I mean, it's ingrained in American, not just American culture, excuse me, but in culture across the world. And eventually this Corona thing's going to get beat. Are we going to go back to normal? No. So that's why I think you're going to see a hybrid. You're going to see maybe movies will be back in the theater, but maybe not all of them. And you're going to get a lot more series, because I'm seeing a lot of very successful Netflix series, and here's the key, like what you just mentioned, where maybe season 1 is not very long. It's 6 episodes. Yeah. And that is like a movie. People will see season 1 and be like, that was just fantastic. When is season 2? And then they're already anticipating season 2. I cannot tell you how many Netflix original TV series. One of them was called Ragnarok. It was like based on Norse mythology and kind of the Thor character, but it was a different take than what Marvel did, and it was only 6 episodes. I can't wait for season 2. So
Yeah,
take
and
Kyle Reese,
you wasn't
make it a short
anticipating that, was
series.
you? That's what I mean. You wasn't anticipating that. You
No,
just stumble. This is what I mean. People stumble across stuff like I do. I don't look out for half the series I watch on Netflix or anything like that. I just, I wonder what I could. Oh, I'll give that a go. I'll give it a go, and then I think, wow, well, that was actually worth giving a go. And that's where I think that's why I can't stress enough. That's the future.
well, and if you make Kyle Reese, like, I mean, and Netflix is a great platform, because I imagine what you could do, especially if it's something as big as Terminator, is no matter where you are on your mobile device or your computer, someone logs onto their Netflix, you could put a big banner at the top saying, Netflix original series, check out, whatever they're going to call it, the Kyle Reese anthology. And most people know of Terminator. They're like, oh my goodness, I have to see that. And they'll click on it and they'll love it.
Yes, exactly. And I think what we'll do on the next podcast, UD9, is we'll actually discuss. We'll come up with our own script ideas off the fly for the first episode of how Kyle Reese's story would begin. You get me?
You know what? That's a great idea. That's a great idea, because I already
take some
have
ideas out the comments, out the comment section as well. See what people are saying, and then we'll try and construct something on the fly of how that would.
My devious mind's already working. Six. Great idea.
Oh yeah. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But I think we'll because obviously you've got to get to work, got to do your local radio station and broadcast.
I got to keep my reputation of essential services intact. I got to make a great broadcast day.
But to everyone, please like, subscribe, and stick with the channel. We're going to be back with loads more stuff. I'd like to say thanks to UD9 yet again over in San Diego. This is UD6 in Lincoln, United Kingdom. You want to say your goodbyes?
And the one thing I will say before we head on out here, because I know this is what you're all about. It's what I'm all about too. It's one of the reasons why we connect so well, is especially in these times, if you're looking for a place to to get some entertainment as well as some information, but no matter what, through it all, you want positivity. This is the place for you to be, because that's something that drew me to Six right away, was to be able to see his love for positivity and for everybody's opinion. And just because you disagree with what I might say or what he might say, you're not going to get blocked. You're not going to be ignored. No, this is a community, and we're glad you're here. We're glad you're listening. And that's all I have to say. The UD9 in San Diego is just a pleased man to be a part of it all.
Yeah, and I'm pleased to have you on board as always. Even though you're not on board, you've been here for ages. But yeah, thank you. Everyone, please like, subscribe, leave your comments below for any script ideas or whatever, or do you think it's a good idea for a Netflix series or not? Let us know, or not just Kyle Reese one, whichever. Let us know what you think. So this is Upside Down 6 signing out,
and UD9 San Diego signing out. Peace, Six. Glad to be here.
Peace out.